Hi, I'm a part-time artist and I thought I would jump on here to show you my process. This isn't a tutorial, however there might be some information that proves helpful. Sometimes the best teacher is trial and error because those mistakes aren't easily forgotten. And as always, I would like to give glory to my Heavenly Father God for giving me the ability to create something beautiful. Now, let's jump into it. I wanted to create Arctic wolves in the polar desert under the aurora borealis at sunrise. So I shouldn't have slapped on black paint to give it a black background. So if you ever do decide to do something similar to the aurora borealis, but not in total darkness, then perhaps try a dark blue background. I don't know. I had to lighten everything up in the end, as you will see later in the video. So that's the first piece of advice. Next, I created outlines on my wolf pup's face, and it was unnecessary work. I could have just stuck with the planes of cools and warms and light and dark values, and then gone in with a finer detail. So if you want to save yourself some work, do it that way. The method I used for the Aurora Borealis can be found as a Northern Lights tutorial on Rivka Wilkins' channel. I particularly looked for a way to do this in oils without using black gesso or slowing down the drying time. And so she gives very helpful advice. You can hop on over there if you want to see how she did it. Another tip is do the eyes first before the rest of the face, because that just brings your animal to life immediately and it gives you that motivation you need to continue. This was helpful advice from Daniel over at Studio Wildlife on YouTube. So, yeah, just learning as I go and passing on the information. Here I went in with the white a little too early, and I've since learned that adding your shadows make a huge difference because they make your lighter colors pop. And I know we all know this in theory, right? But when it comes to doing something like white fur, the temptation is to always jump in with white early on. My advice, don't do that. That's another thing I learned, trial and error. So here I was doing some highlights on the side and finishing up the right side of the face. As you can see, the right ear is still not done at this point. To prevent it from looking like sticks, I every now and then used a mop brush. In fact, this wasn't even an artist mop brush. This was a makeup brush from the store. I think I only paid €3 for it or something. Anyway, be careful if you buy the cheaper brushes or non-artistic brushes that the hairs don't fall out and stick to your painting. If they do, you can try and use a dry brush to remove it. For most of this fur, I used a very long rigger brush and a zero at Princeton, I think it was. And then I came in with my flat brush number 4, as you can see here, Lefranc brand, and filled in those gaps. In this part of the painting, I worked quite thinly with linseed oil because I wanted this part to be a little more abstract and a little more flowy than the face, because your eyes will kind of think that they are seeing detail even when you're putting in less detail towards the edges and the bottom of your painting. Because this is a portrait, you know, I want the main star of the show to be the faces.